Right now, there's something you should be doing. And instead, you're watching this. Don't worry. You're not lazy. You're not broken. Your brain is doing exactly what it was wired to do. For decades, we were told procrastination was a time management problem. Just plan better. Just try harder. Just stop being so lazy. Every one of those takes is wrong. Modern psychology has flipped the entire story upside down. Today, we're going to expose the real reasons your brain talks you out of starting and what actually helps you break the cycle. Have you ever cleaned the entire kitchen instead of writing a single email? Or opened 12 browser tabs to research something and somehow ended up shopping? Maybe you've stared at a task you knew would take 20 minutes and let it sit there for 3 weeks. These aren't moral failings. They're not even time problems. They're symptoms of a quiet emotional war happening inside your head every single day. After watching this, you'll never look at a to-do list the same way again. And the first lie we'll dismantle is the biggest one of all. Procrastination isn't really a time management problem. According to researchers Tim Pychyl and Fushia, it's better understood as a problem of managing emotion. When a task makes you feel anxious, bored, or unsure of yourself, your brain reaches for the fastest available way to make that feeling go away. And avoidance works. Instantly. That's the trap. Pychyl calls this the give in to feel good pattern. The moment you pick up your phone instead of opening the report, your mood actually improves. The relief is real. Your brain logs that relief as a reward. So the next time the same task appears, the urge to flee gets stronger. This is why willpower alone almost never works. You're not fighting laziness. You're fighting your own internal mood repair system, the same one designed to pull you out of pain. And it has thousands of years of evolution on its side. Inside your skull, two systems are constantly fighting for the wheel. The limbic system, your emotional, present-focused brain, wants comfort right now. The prefrontal cortex, your planning, future-focused brain, wants the long-term reward. In a procrastinator, the limbic system tends to win. And it doesn't win because you're weak. It wins because it's louder, faster, and older. A 2011 study by neuropsychologist Laura Rabin linked higher procrastination to weaker executive function, planning, organization, impulse control. It's not a character flaw. It's a measurable difference in how your brain regulates itself when an aversive task shows up. Here's where it gets strange. Psychologist Hal Hershfield ran a brilliant experiment using brain scans. He put people in an fMRI machine and asked them to think about themselves in the present, themselves in 10 years, and a complete stranger. The brain regions that lit up for future you looked far more like a stranger than like the person they are today. Read that again. To parts of your brain, future you can register more like another person than like yourself. So when you push that task onto next week, it doesn't quite feel like betraying yourself. It feels like handing the bill to someone you barely recognize, and the guilt softens. This is why I'll do it tomorrow feels so easy in the moment and so devastating when tomorrow becomes today. Future you isn't real to your brain yet, until they are. Then they're you, holding the consequences. In 2007, psychologist Piers Steel published the most comprehensive review of procrastination ever done, a meta-analysis pulling together hundreds of studies. He found that procrastination follows a predictable equation. A task gets put off when it feels boring, frustrating, ambiguous, far in the future, or attached to a reward you don't trust. Steele called it the procrastination equation. The lower your confidence and the lower the value, the more likely you'll delay. The more impulsive you are and the further the deadline, the worse it gets. This is why you can fold laundry for hours but can't start your taxes. And here's something humbling. Surveys suggest almost everyone procrastinates sometimes. So if you've ever felt like the only one who can't get it together, you're in the majority. Researcher Joseph Ferrari has also estimated that around 1 in 5 adults are chronic procrastinators, where the avoidance starts damaging their work, relationships, and health. Now here's a paradox most people miss. You don't procrastinate hardest on things you don't care about. You procrastinate hardest on the things that matter most. The dream project, the honest conversation, the audition, the book you've always wanted to write. Why? Because the more you care, the more it can hurt. When your identity is tied to the outcome, attempting the task risks proving you're not good enough. So your brain quietly pulls a magic trick. If you never really start, you never really fail. The unfinished novel stays a someday genius project. The avoided business idea stays a brilliant dream. Procrastination becomes protection. Protection from a verdict you're terrified to hear. Researchers call this self-handicapping. By delaying, you give yourself a built-in excuse. I could have done amazing, if only I'd had more time. It feels like laziness from the outside. From the inside, it's fear wearing a very convincing costume. So how do you actually break the cycle? In 1927, a psychologist named Bluma Zeigarnik discovered something remarkable. People remembered interrupted, unfinished tasks far better than tasks they had completed. An incomplete task seems to create a kind of mental open loop, a low hum the brain keeps trying to close. Here's what that means in practice. The resistance you feel isn't in the doing, it's in the starting. Once you open the document, write a single sentence, or take the first small step, the task switches from untouched to in progress. And an unfinished task is harder for your brain to leave alone. Momentum, not motivation, is the secret. This is why the most effective trick in the entire procrastination toolkit is shockingly simple. Lower the bar until starting feels embarrassing. 2 sentences. 1 paragraph. Open the file and stare at it. Whatever it takes to flip the switch from not started to started. And here's the most counterintuitive finding of all. In 2010, psychologists Michael Wohl, Tim Pychyl, and Shannon Bennett ran a study on university students. The students who forgave themselves for procrastinating before their first exam ended up procrastinating less before their second. Not the ones who beat themselves up, the ones who let it go. Self-compassion, not self-criticism, helped them start sooner. This makes perfect sense once you remember what procrastination actually is. It's emotion regulation. If beating yourself up makes the task feel worse, you'll avoid it harder next time. If you forgive yourself, the emotional charge fades and starting becomes possible again. Guilt is fuel for the fire, not water. So the next time you catch yourself procrastinating, try something radical. Don't yell at yourself. Notice the feeling underneath. Anxiety, boredom, self-doubt. Then take one tiny, almost laughable step towards starting. That's it. Your future self, the stranger your brain barely recognizes, will quietly thank you. And if you found this useful, subscribe. Because next week we're exposing why you can't put your phone down.